Hello and welcome to the commentary for Steven Universe versus Star Butterfly. That one.
That thing
we're
with
super
wings?
excited for this episode. As always, I'm joined by Chad, the boomstick. I'm Ben, the Wiz. We've got Jen here, the writer. Hello, Jen.
Hi, friends. Yeah, I do the words again for this one.
Oh
Wrote
God,
the words.
Sam has rubbed off on you too much. That was I regret that about your time with us. Too much exposure to Sam.
Oh,
Well,
come
you wrote the
on.
words, and the words were spoken by our fourth guest, Kaden.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Steven!
The
Finally!
voice of our Steven. So happy to have
so
you here.
fun.
This is so cool.
This is my first death battle, too.
Yeah. Well,
And you were so
hopefully
excited,
win.
which I love. You've been waiting to be able to talk about this for a while now.
It's like, what, four or 5 months now?
Yeah.
This is so cool.
It has been, yeah, I guess we would have recorded about 4 or 5 months ago. Close, 3 or 4 months ago. Pretty close to the beginning of the year. And this is a matchup that we've been seeing. It's been requested since
Forever.
freaking forever.
Yeah.
I guess both shows kind of aired around the similar time, and so they were somewhat comparable in that regard, even though they are very different shows.
Yeah, but they still
they-
they tackle like because Steven's very much about like friendship, but also like dealing with real world issues, and like Star is a little also like they delved into that like am I on the right side, which is a little different for like children's cartoon shows. You know what I mean?
Well,
Especially at
in
the
that
end of
time.
Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End
Well,
of Star was definitely not the beginning of Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get to that. Yeah, especially back then when these shows were coming out, like this, it was during kind of a, I guess, little revolution in children's cartoons, and there's a lot more shows like this now. Back then, when Steven Universe was coming out, like, wasn't a whole lot like it.
What a
Yep.
what a different show from when that original pilot aired, even to that original pilot to that first episode. I'm such a huge Steven Universe fan, so like getting to jump into this was just like, oh yeah, and it's like, wait, who's Steven fighting? Star? It's like, crud.
So like
Oh, you called it right away.
for me,
Well,
like,
there's
I've
a
heard-
lot of like, Steven's super powerful. Like, he can do a lot of stuff, but Star's got this magic wand that kind of breaks reality, and it's not fair. And
little bit.
I mean, it's a matchup of like very similar like shows and how they came to be, and also like how they grew with time. It got really real for Star and Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like this is cool for me because like I've seen these suggested forever, but then like so I all I've heard is nothing but praises to infinity for Steven Universe, but I haven't watched it yet. But Kira got into Star versus the first Forces of Evil, and that was one of the kids shows that I was like, oh, I don't even want to like look at my phone while she's doing this and we're hanging out. Like I was like, oh, like, I'm getting into this show. This is really fun.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh, it's so
such a
funny.
ridiculous
It's so
show.
good. I know.
It goes wild. Like
It gets a little weird. Gets a little wild.
It starts weird and wild, and then it goes like it gets super serious,
Yeah. That it does.
But only said that way because it's like still a kids show.
Yeah,
so
it's
serious.
Well, how about you, Genevieve, while working on this episode, translating the silliness and the seriousness of Steven and Star? How
I mean,
did that
there's
go for
one
you?
obvious moment where it's like, I need to mention this, but also not make the whole episode about it, which is when Star maybe kind of just commits magical genocide. Just a little,
just a smidge.
just a tiny bit, in order to save, I guess, everyone else. And I think I nodded to that a little bit, where I was like, I need to get this out of the way, so we can agree that Star has massive power, but at the same time, oh no, but that I think that really balanced well with her different moves and Steven's different powers and just the overall tone of the show, rather than like certain moments of it where you're like, oh my god, I'm about to cry. Because I just love looking at all the power Star had, especially with the wand, because she could just make stuff up.
Like
You
laser
know?
puppies.
Right, or like shooting cupcakes out of her wand, and like creating the spider with a top hat. I was like, this is my favorite thing.
Yeah. I had never seen anything Star versus the Forces of Evil related prior to working on this. And during the research meeting, when we were just going over all her powers, it quickly dawned on me that's like, these magical spells that Star has could just be anything.
Oh, yeah.
You just say words and they will appear.
She's
in
super
some form
OP.
of weapon.
She's
Yeah.
super OP.
Like exploding narwhals or something. I was just like, come on, really? More? Warnicorns?
The Warnicorns
The
are great,
Warnicorns
though.
are great.
Love the
Warnicorns
Warnicorns.
and narwhals
War
are great.
and unicorns together.
Yep.
Of course, you have to, and I love it. And then there's that one episode where like it shows where all the summons are just hanging out. And they just like
Yes.
chill together in a single like house until they're summoned.
And then there's that one summon, like the all-seeing eye or whatever, who makes everyone else uncomfortable, and I almost feel so bad for it.
So much weirdness. So much weirdness. But I do think it's interesting how this is a lot of our death metal matchups or requests we get are characters with like similar powers or similar backstories or whatever. It's always fun to me whenever we get a matchup with characters that are very different in terms of their skill sets and what they bring to the table. And you could like look at Steven and say like, oh yeah, he's using magic gem powers versus magic wand powers, but it's not really that. It's a completely different kind of power set, and so matching that up is so much more interesting to me than just saying like, both characters can, fly and pass through walls.
Shoot
How does
lasers,
that
yeah.
compare? Who can pass through walls better?
Yeah, you
Right.
basically threw a paladin at a warlock. That's what you did.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Chad?
No, I was backing you up. I said, or like lasers. Don't
like
worry about it.
lasers,
It wasn't
yes.
worth going back. But now we did, so it's awkward.
I mean,
Hey, look, it's a giant Godzilla monster. Cool.
that's Steven. How dare you? Call him by his name.
Man.
Come on, it's just my monster form. It's fine. Everything's
This is like the
cool.
most depressing moment of the show, and we're just like,
It's-
hey, check out that monster.
Look at the cool monster.
Listen, I feel a little bad about it, because at this rate I've killed how many children?
Oh, you kill a lot.
Big oof.
I mean, because Steven's like all sad, and then he has this monster form, and I'm like, oh, I feel for your mental struggles, buddy. Time for you to die. I mean, it was like, Zuko, Steven, oh god,
Yeah.
Edward
What-
Elric, too.
Oh,
Did you?
oof.
You didn't write Danny versus Jake.
I didn't. I think I was like, oh, that would be a fun episode, just because I knew, like, that was one of the
almost
kids'
did.
shows
You
I
almost
actually
got all
watched was
the-
Danny Phantom.
You almost got all the, and I hate to call them this, dead children episode.
Wow, what a thing to be known for if I had just made a perfect run.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it was a request. These have all been requested. Come on, you can't blame us.
Of course. Yeah, it's not
I
our
mean-
fault that people want to see how old is Steven? He's like 16, 17?
By series end, I think he's 17, 18. He's like on the
We
cusp
had a
of-
slate up earlier. I don't remember what it said.
Yeah, because there was a time skip. I mean, like
It seems like
there's
13
there's
for
the
the
whole
majority,
like,
right?
future stuff that happens, which we already kind of like covered with or Whiz and Boomstick covered in the beginning of this, where like there's some power scaling that happens with Steven post the series proper ending and like the movie happening in the middle of all that. There's like Steven gets some power boosts, but Star is just look at her go. Just look at her go. She's just like it's so like the moment that I found out who Steven was fighting, it was just like, nah, that's it. It's game. There was
You never know, though, kid. I can't tell you how many times we've thought that and like going into it, and then we find some really weird thing that is like perfectly a counter to everything this other person has. And you're like, oh, whoa. Like,
one of the things that I did kind of think about immediately is like, okay, if Steven bubbles the wand, then maybe he'll have a shot. But then, of course, if she's in like her final form, then it's kind of over already.
Because she doesn't need the wand.
Right, she doesn't need the wand anymore.
Yep.
Which, once that happens, it's game over. Which is why it's like immediately when I was thinking about like a matchup between Steven, there was two characters that came to mind. Star is of course the first one because they aired around the same time. The other one is, very similar. She-Ra,
yeah.
the Netflix.
You want
She-Ra
Steven to go up
series.
again's She-Ra?
Yeah, let's go.
New She-Ra.
New She-Ra, not old She-Ra. I want new She-Ra.
She-Ra's also got some pretty
She's-
crazy magic hacks.
She's
Really bad.
got some magic powers, but I think that would be also like sword versus shield is kind of a cool fight just in
That's true.
general.
Yeah.
I now
Also,
have the
like,
old
I
She-Ra
would
you
love
can-
to bring
in my
new
head.
She-Ra into it.
I mean, open it up a little bit more, because the new She-Ra and old She-Ra have a way different power set. Like, we're working
She-Ra.
with different things completely. It's like using Teen Titans Raven versus comic book Raven. It's
Oh yeah.
two completely different
Well,
characters.
I mean, we've tackled He-Man before, old He-Man, and people who've watched that will know the bullshit we found in there.
old
We had a
He-Man
She-Ra
is.
episode.
Oh yeah, and She-Ra, of course.
But it was old school She-Ra.
It was
Yeah.
old
A
school
new She-Ra
She-Ra.
would be fun.
But I mean,
I would really
if
love to bring new
you
stuff
want
into
to make it fair, then just like make it Crystal Gems versus She-Ra's whole gang, like Bo and Catra and Glimmer, the four of them versus.
They'd get crushed.
You say that, but that finale.
I guess Glimmer's pretty badass by the end of it.
Glimmer, yeah, by end, she's about as powerful as her mom, and then she also has her dad's skill set too. And
Right. Yeah. They would destroy these people.
it's
No,
it's,
but Chad was talking about things we come across that we weren't expecting. Steven, I thought, for a good chunk of time, had this in the bag because of his diamond power. Very early on in the research, we talked about how the Authority diamonds wiped out all gem life on planet Earth
Yup.
in a single attack, and Rose was able to block against it, which to me was like, that's a ridiculously powerful move, and it's going to be very difficult to find anything that Star has that's more powerful than that.
Until.
Turns out she's got a couple, but but like, Steven isn't just some dude with a shield. Like, he is ridiculously powerful, and that shield is ridiculously strong. It's just Star happens to have a laser that she only uses as a laser pointer in the show, but according to her own book, can blow up the entire planet.
yeah.
So
I mean, she's also able to destroy like entire universes.
Not to mention,
theoretically,
mention Steven's half gem. You know, he's still got that human half to him as well. So he's not as. I wouldn't say he's not built as sturdy as the gems, but little less so.
Are we ranking
Yeah.
Steven based on like carats or whatever? You know, like how many carats of gem is Steven?
We can't say that he's necessarily less powerful than Rose, though, because he still possesses all of Rose's
It's
Right,
true.
abilities.
because he has the gem itself.
But he does have the squishy meat person parts.
Oh no! Squishy meat man. This literally, when I was like writing the fight, I just kind of thought. I almost went. I was like, I wanted to go really gory for a second, and Ben was like, no,
That would've been
no.
cool. I actually would have been awesome.
He was like, Genevieve, these are
just so
children.
really
Remember, they're
sad.
children.
Well, it's not even just that, because, like, you know,
Oh, I
I
think
think it
I-
always depends on the episode, but it was like, it's Steven.
Yeah, and I
don't
might
wanna
have
fucking
extended it a
bloody
bit
up
too,
Steven.
where it was like really sort of tough between them, where she was like, "Oh no," and he's like, "Oh, I lost." I drew it out unnecessarily, and then was like, "You can't do this."
I love the setup of this fight, by the way. The
Steven.
fact that it's like on the beach and they're doing the whole sandcastle thing. It's very in character for both of them. It's just like, hey, we're just chilling on the beach, having fun. Everything's totally normal, and then things quickly get out of hand.
If there's
Yes.
not water nearby in one of my fights, I think it's an off day for me at this point. My very
So you're
first
not the
fight that I
children
wrote.
killing writer, you're the ocean writer.
Okay,
Water
Aquaman
Rider?
Namor, first episode I wrote, like, mostly on my own, was in a pool. And then went to a beach. And I think a couple times I was like, well, what if we have it, like, on a beach? And you're like, Genevieve, we just did this.
We have had multiple episodes on beaches. And you know what? You probably wrote every single one of them.
This is my favorite line for Steven right here.
What did sandcastles ever do to you?
What did sandcastles ever do to you? It's just so like it's so on brand for it's just like I'm caring about the inanimate objects. He speaks from such a heartful place where it's just like we were just having fun and now everything's wrong.
Yeah. It's like you had to ruin it for everyone, really?
I think this is a personality clash that is super fun too, because again, it's not just the same character versus a similar character. They are so opposite in their personalities. In
Oh,
terms
yeah,
of how,
100%.
like energetic and excited they are about certain things. Star is so spatsy. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I love too. Like, God, who animated this episode?
Luis's team.
Yeah, I mean, I got that. I just worry. Like, man, the hand-drawn elements are so spot on. Like, it looks so good. Yeah, I know. This is the best part.
The spider, by the way.
It's just yeet the
great.
unicorn too, just like yoink.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I made such a push. I was like, I need Spider with a top hat, and I need him to be voiced. Like,
Absolutely.
So funny.
We cast Liam, I think,
in a
during the
research
writers'
meeting.
call. Yeah, research meeting. Like he just said the war cry. We're like, yep, you got it.
That's awesome.
Pretty
Did you
great.
audition? You did. Now.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, the first time I met Liam was on Death Battle Cast, and he lost.
Just
Now
rubbing
you're
it in.
pushing for me to always lose.
Yes.
Well, not always. You definitely
Always.
like. I mean, you keep getting like
Always.
easy ones. I gotta give you a hard one. I gotta give you a hard one the next time. Next time I'm on.
Okay.
Like, make it more even. Not like here's a challenging one, but
I love how this fight just shifts into. I mean, you said you wanted to make it gory. It's not super gory, but it's it's violent.
You know, I think in my
Everybody
first
dies.
yeah.
in my
every-
first battle draft, I think I actually wrote the word viscera. So,
I love the rainbow ending there. That is so wonderful.
oh, it's so good.
just the simple I won. The shattered gem breaks my heart though. Like that hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
See?
it was your gem
See?
that broke.
Yes.
Genevieve, now imagine if there was just blood and guts all over
Listen,
the place as well.
I feel like that would be
My
like
God.
less hurtful, honestly, in a lot of different ways. The broken
Less
gem,
emotion,
just completely like Steven's gone, like his physical form, because he has one. He has like a squishy meat person part. Star just blasted that into nothing, and all that's left is the shattered gem. And it's just like, oh man, I lost. It's just like, oh no, he's dead. Wait,
So
no.
if you had just seen his decapitated, bloody head,
It hurts
you would
less.
be feeling like,
It,
oh,
no,
that's
it
not
hurts.
as bad.
It hurts less. I don't know
What if
why.
the gem
it
has
just
been
hurts
like
less.
melted and soldered into the sand?
Kate needs to do some soul searching after this. I'm just gonna say.
Jesus, I could not do that.
Can you were so close to the laugh from Slayers there. I just want to point that out.
Yeah. The Ojo
Okay,
Sama
do I
laugh,
have to like
I'm all
lock
about
my
it.
door after this and, for killing Steven?
Oh, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is all your fault.
I mean,
Well,
technicalities. It's the show's fault for not making Steven more powerful.
actually, it's the fans' fault for requesting the battle.
Yeah,
There
what?
it is. Blame the
Come
fans.
on!
That always
You could have
works
put
out
me up
great.
against
Genevieve.
She-Ra. It would have been easier. I might have actually won that one. It would have been fair.
You
But
hear
put
that?
me up
Most,
against a
most
literal
dedicated.
goddess.
You hear that? Most dedicated of fans who are watching the commentary for the episode. It's your fault.
Thank
according to
you.
Genevieve.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
We love you so much. Thanks for,
Oh
for
my
this.
god.
This is so
well,
fun.
Either way, whoever's fault it was, I want to give him a high five because this was an awesome episode.
Oh, so
It was a
good.
really good idea.
So
I forgot
good.
this one was next, Ben.
Next up is our remake.
God.
Or I guess it's less a remake, it's a rematch of Link vs. Cloud.
Oh,
Very
excited.
old episode.
Notoriously one of the most debated matchups internally we ever had.
It'll be fine. It'll
Well-
be fine.
We also are using a very different rule set than we did back then.
Yeah, no,
It's
for sure.
The rules we used back then were stupid compared to what we do now. But that's coming up soon. Can't wait for y'all to see it. Kate and Jen, thank you so much for joining us. This
Thanks
was
for
fun.
having us.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast. Literally.
I mean, you did get blasted.
All the rest of you in the next commentary.
Bye.